Hello, we are back just out of my garden. I went and grabbed some blueberries. We're gonna do some muffins. I have a pretty great recipe with blueberries and lemon and little stupid toppings. So, Scarlett's back to help us. Cameraman Cam doing his thing and the cat being annoying over there. So, I took a little bit of time ahead and got my oven preheated. So I got that going at 400. I got all my dry and liquid ingredients pre-measured and ready to go, other than our vanilla and our lemon. So we'll get those going. I know that I need a teaspoon of vanilla, so we'll get that out of the way. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So we'll just get that here. And then we're gonna zest. We need 2 tablespoons of the juice from this, but we also need zest. So the challenge that I've seen, some people will, yes, stir this flour. Just stir it, okay? People will cut this, they'll juice it, and then they'll try to zest it. That's the wrong order. So you always want to zest this first. And when you're zesting, you just want to get the yellow outer skin. That's where all the oils and that citrus are. So again, we want, yes?
Yeah, I'm gonna put water in here.
You're not going to put water in there. We need about a teaspoon. That's a little bit more than what we need. And I'm going to put that, let's see. About a teaspoon of this zest, and that's about right. If you like lemon, you can add a little extra. If you don't like it as much, then you don't have to. But we like lemon, so we're gonna do it. So we'll get rid of this. Don't eat that, please. Don't eat it. All right. And then I'm gonna juice a lemon in a lime juicer. So basically we're making Sprite. It's the only ingredients in Sprite, they say, lemon and lime. If you don't have one of these, you can just squeeze it by hand, that's fine too. Just make sure you don't get a bunch of seeds in there. Okay. Might have one actually. Let's see if I can catch it. There we go. Alright. So, we have all of our ingredients here. I'm going to move this out of our way. Okay, so here's the deal. When you're doing muffins, you're going to have a dry team and you're going to have a wet team. And then you're going to bring those all together. So, we have, yes. Yes, I'm going to give this to you and you're going to mix it. So, we're going to add our flour, our sugar. We have baking powder. So, we're going to get that in there. And then salt. Okay, so that is our dry team. Flour, sugar, salt, baking powder. Okay, so we get those in there. Then, I'm going to be resourceful and just use this same bowl here. We have, for the wet team, 5 ounces of milk. And with the measuring cups, it has 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup, 3/4, 1 cup. What?
I want milk in here.
We will later. The problem is there's not a 5 ounce mark on here. So you have to go basically between 4 and 6, right? So that's pretty simple. So we've got, it looks like my measuring cup has a hole in it. So I got oil on the counter. I didn't realize that this is plastic and it's broken. So we'll fix that. That's great. Now I know. I know what to add to my wish list for Christmas, I guess. All right. A new plastic measuring cup, not plastic. All right, so we need a 1/3 cup. We lost just a little bit. So we got our oil. What? We will put it in there, I promise. again, 5 ounces of milk. And then when I'm measuring, I always have my measuring vessel flat on the counter. Sometimes you'll be holding it and you're pouring it and you think that it's right, but maybe you have it tilted slightly, so you get an inaccurate measurement. So make sure you have that on the counter as long as your house is level. If your house isn't level, then you're gonna get a wrong reading anyhow. So anyhow, add our milk. We have an egg.
I'm putting it in here.
Nope, put the egg in there. Our vanilla is gonna go here. We also need 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. 1, 2, got a little extra. And then I'm gonna also add our zest in here. The reason why is because if you add it into the flour, then it'll typically clump up and you'll have 1 chunk of zest, okay? So we'll give this a quick mix. What? We're gonna have to add more into it. It keeps spilling it. Okay, so a couple things real quick. I'm fortunate that I have fresh blueberries out of my garden. If you have fresh blueberries, that's great. You can just add those in and go. If you have frozen berries, you're gonna need to take a little bit of your dry mix and add that into your blueberries. And the reason why is because when these blueberries freeze, what happens to liquid when it freezes? It expands, and so the little structure of the skin on these blueberries will rupture. And then if you put the frozen berries into your batter, it's gonna start to stain the batter and you're gonna have like tie-dye muffins. So some of you might be into that, and that's cool. Some of you may not be. So if you have regular fresh berries, add those into your batter. If they are frozen, and I'll just show you, you would just take a little bit of your flour, dry mixture, and coat those, okay? That way when these juice, they would juice up on the mixture, okay? So, we don't need to worry about that. All right, we're gonna add this. Get your hand out of there.
Like you did it.
I know I did it. All right, so I'm gonna actually give you a different project.
Yeah, I mixed that.
No,
But I want that.
I need you to put these muffin liners in.
Okay.
Fill it up. Okay, with our batter, the muffin batter, one thing we want to take caution with is we don't want to over mix this, because the more you mix it, the more gluten you're going to activate. Okay, and we don't want these to be super tough. We want these to be tender and soft, right? So we're going to bring this all together, like I did here, and then we'll stop. Okay, once there's no lumps, okay, we'll just stop. 1 in each one. And then we'll add in our blueberries. And I have a cup of blueberries here, maybe a little extra. It's blueberry season, so we'll use them up. We'll use them so we don't have to freeze them. Okay. And then we'll just fold this together. You don't want to over mix it. There's a thing called tunneling in baked goods. And if you've ever played in the dirt and taken a dirt clod and broken that in half, and you see the little tunnel where the worm traveled, makes a little tunnel in the dirt clod. The same thing can happen to your muffins or cakes. So if you over mix these, it doesn't make it taste bad. It's just an undesirable outcome. So we won't do that, right? You getting it? All right, so our batter's all together. Our oven's preheated. I always forget about this strudel topping here, so we want to make sure we don't forget about that. Got it? You got 3 in here. That's okay. Okay. One more. And there you go. We're gonna scoop it in now. Okay?
Let me do it.
No way. No way. Okay, so I'm gonna use a 3rd cup scoop. No, I'm gonna do it. You watch. Okay? Now, you don't want to fill these all the way up, but at the same time, you don't want to make them too small.
Dad, let me do it.
No.
Can I go?
No, let me do it. Also, with our struggle between Scarlett and I with the spatula, I'm dripping batter on my muffin tin, and I don't really want to do that because it'll burn on in the oven and it'll make your little muffin wrapper stick. So we'll make sure to clean that up before we put this in the oven. Uh-oh, I just spilled everywhere.
This one.
Well, we don't have enough for that one. Okay, here, you hold that.
Okay.
You can lick it or not.
Uh-huh.
There you go. Get a little bit. I got a couple of these that are needing a little bit of attention. Cameraman is upset. You can hear him breathing because Scarlett is getting to lick the spoon here. Okay, that'll do it for us. Here, cameraman, there's one left. All right. Now, I need to clean this nightmare up here. We dribbled all over the place. Especially here. This is a lot. Alright, so just try to clean the top up so you don't get a bunch of burns and crusty wrappers. Muffin liners. Like this one specifically right here. Okay. Alright. So one thing left to do, actually two things, we gotta bake them, but one more thing that I wanna do is put on a little bit of this streusel topping. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. I like to because it just adds an extra layer of texture. And this is white sugar, flour, butter, and cinnamon. So that'll be attached in the recipe as well. Alright, I'm pretty happy with this. We'll get this in the oven for about, I think it's 20 minutes, but I'll check and I'll let you know. Get our counter wipe down. We don't need these, get those out of there. Alright, so going in the oven, preset, preheated 400 degrees, middle rack. Yeah.
Look at the little one.
Perfect. Eat it. Okay, so those are in the oven. We're gonna let those do their thing, and then oh, I have these big sugar sprinkles I wanted to throw on too. Just because I want to be a little bit extra, we got these big sugar sprinkles. You don't have to. We don't have to put these on if you don't want, but I thought we would use some of these cute little sugar sprinkles. I don't know how it's gonna look. I'll just do half of them and we'll see. You want those? All right. We'll see. We'll do half. All right. 20 minutes and we'll check on these guys. Our timer is just about to kick. I got our toothpicks here so we can stab one, just to make sure that they're done. A couple things too that I didn't mention. And these are beautiful little muffins. That I didn't mention is that the oven that I'm using, careful, it's hot. Stick this Oh, never mind. Don't eat that. My oven is convection. Shh, quiet. This is really important. My oven is convection, and what that means is that there's in the back of my oven there's a small little fan, and I have the option to turn that fan on or off. And the benefit of that fan is that it circulates the air around my oven and cooks things a little more uniformly and a little bit quicker. So typically with ovens, you're gonna have to adjust your temperature or your time based off of what you're doing. So you wanna check before you start doing a lot of cooking whether or not your oven has a fan or not, and whether or not there's a convection setting or not. If you have just a standard oven, imagine this is your tray of food and you have the element down below, the heat's gonna come up, hit that, and then those little molecules of heat are just gonna kind of drop, right? If you have convection, that air is gonna be circulating around and staying hot, and it's just a more uniform way of doing things. So, check your ovens. We did stab our muffins with a toothpick. I have a little bit over the edges here, and we're just gonna start popping these guys out, and we'll get them on our pan or on our cooling rack and let these cool down. All right, so we'll get these all out, cooled down, and then we'll have a sample. And then we'll take some to the neighbor, and that will be our blueberry muffin. We'll see you around. Bye-bye. All right, we're gonna get a sample and see how it goes. I never seen anyone eat a muffin like that. How is it?
Good.
Good? How good?
It's like mini.
Mini. It's mini good. All right, y'all. See you around.